I've got a neon light on. I thought it was appropriate for this movie. So, Jane Schoenbrun, is that how you say her name? Or their name, whatever pronouns they go by. With them having just released Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma recently, which that is one thing I'll say right off the bat with this director here. The titles for Jane's movies are fucking great. And their feature film debut here from 2021, 2022, We're All Going to the World's Fair. Excellent title too. I wanted to cover this movie and then after this go on to I Saw the TV Glow before I talk about Camp Miasma. Many people probably haven't seen it yet, so I want to get there by talking about how I feel about her prior two movies. Because I have seen this one, and I have seen I Saw the TV Glow. I saw both of them around when they came out. These aren't really horror movies at all. Camp Miasma has the whole meta slasher stuff going on, so you do get more horror content in that movie. But this movie, I would say out of her three major films so far, this movie is by far the least horror, and it's very art house. It's a very art house, deliberately slow moving film. So we have Anna Cobb in her film debut role playing Casey. She seems to be a very lonely teenager, spends almost all of her time in her bedroom, which is in the attic, it seems, of her dad's house. You don't even see her father at any point of the movie. You hear him call up, I think one time. They deliberately don't show you anything to do with Casey, really, which is a great move, because you feel like you're watching her put these videos out. Because the whole premise here is she is going online to take this World's Fair challenge, which is kind of like a creepypasta. And Schoenbrun did a short film before this that dealt with the whole creepypasta of Slender Man. So it makes sense this is the direction she went after that. But Casey ends up taking the World's Fair challenge, which is like a online role-playing game, but a horror-themed game. They don't really talk about any of the rules or what happens. You like prick your thumb or your finger, smear blood on your laptop, say into the camera on your laptop or computer, I want to go to the World's Fair 3 times, kind of like Bloody Mary, and then you watch a video. And the whole mythos of the game is after doing that challenge, you're supposed to look out for any weird changes, psychological changes, physical changes, could be supernatural. You don't really know. And that's one of the things this movie is very good at, and Jane is great at overall. Basically blurring the lines of reality. And as the movie goes on, Casey's posting videos, and it looks like she's either going through some, mental health crisis, that she's taking this too seriously, or some possible supernatural occurrence is happening to her. But then you also have the interpretation that she knows this is a game that she's playing. And that's the interpretation I kind of stick to. The music by Alex G in this is great. I think it's one of the best parts of the movie, especially for a deliberately slow-paced film. This movie isn't gonna work for most people. I could see a ton of people checking out halfway through and saying this is such a boring film. Nothing happens, which things do happen, but I would understand where they're coming from. This isn't a very action-packed film. This movie is a lot more concerned with putting you in a mood, in a world, soaking you in with the atmosphere, and playing with all these themes of loneliness, isolation, identity, because I know, I think Jane, don't quote me on this, I don't know for sure, but I think she realized that she was trans while filming the movie or writing it, something like that. So this movie has a lot of deep connection to Jane and the filmmaker's identity. And you see that throughout I Saw the TV Glow and a lot more in Camp Miasma as well. But overall, it's not a great movie, but it might be my favorite film of hers, or theirs, up to this date, with 3 films under their belt. For some people, all of those themes might not resonate. Obviously, it depends on the viewer. But the overarching themes of isolation and loneliness and not knowing where you fit in the world and trying to find a place where you can fit in Casey's case, being involved in this role-playing game online. It brings her a little bit of comfort, like she's a part of something, and then you have some guy, without going into too much, trying to tell her what the rules are. This is a very stylish movie. It has a great mood. It builds great atmosphere, even if it feels a bit boring and mundane, because it's mostly supposed to be. We're not supposed to know anything about Casey, really, besides what we see her posting online. Like any other person who would watch her videos, they wouldn't know anything about her really either. So there's a lot of great stuff explored in this movie, and there's a lot of great ideas that are executed very well. It just might not be for everybody. It definitely isn't for everybody. So, have you seen We're All Going to the World's Fair? If you have, what do you think about it? Leave your thoughts below. If you haven't seen it, but it sounds like something you may be able to get into and enjoy, I don't know where it's streaming, but it's on lookmovie.com.